We're here at Scarpa with Dave, and Dave, today we're going to run through the spin collection in a lot greater detail.
Yeah.
Now, where should we begin? Should we begin with the ones you've got in your hand, the 2.0?
I think there's a progression as we go up through the series here, so makes sense to start there. Spin 2.0. So this is our kind of I guess short to medium distance trail shoe, but you can see immediately much lower profile. We've got a closer fitting last to this shoe, so it's for someone who's looking to move a little quicker and lighter.
Weight-wise as well, it's looking a lot more sort of slimline and refined than these in terms of its overall build.
It is. I mean, our lightest shoe in the range, so about 250 grams for a pair of 42s in there, giving you something that does feel light on the foot, but actually gives you something really agile as well. So you'd feel quite nimble in this.
And what do these feature in terms of your stack height and drop?
So we've got a stack height of 4 mil on this shoe, or a drop of 4 mil, I should say, on there, and we've got a 4 mil tread on the sole unit in here as well.
So there's a good amount of grip on there for trail use, or even off trail throughout the drier months of the year as well.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, 4 mil tread is a really good tread for that kind of all mountain capacity, I guess. We're not looking at super technical terrain, but actually in an environment where you're looking to shorter distance, faster trails, it's ideal.
When I was looking at these, I had things like, bombing it up and down Snowdon or Skidder or the such like, because there's enough cushioning so that your knees are going to come out of it feeling all right, but there's not too much that actually is going to interfere with your descents or make you feel any at all unstable on your ankle. Yeah,
for sure. You've not got the same support as something like the Ultra or the Infinity in there, but that's not what you're wearing the shoe for. You're looking for that faster pace, you're looking to be more nimble, and Snowdon's an ideal kind of race to be involved in if that's the sort of shoe you're looking for.
So moving on to the Ultra, I mean, I suspect here the clue is potentially in the name, Dave, but do you want to tell us a bit more about it?
Yeah, I mean, the Ultra, immediately you can see we've got a much bigger stack to the shoe. I think we've got something like 28 to 22 on this, so a 6 mil drop on there. We've got still a 4 mil tread, so again we're using this Vibram outsole here, which is what we call the light base, so we're really reducing the amount of material on this sole to a minimum to keep the weight down. But more importantly, what we've got is more support within that midsole. So much more protection underfoot for those longer distances that you're putting in. You're in this shoe all day, so...
It's because if you were to use the 2.0, your foot would start feeling that ache. It has to work. Whereas in this, you've got almost that all-around cushioning from both back to front that will just keep you feeling comfortable from beginning to end of what is ultimately going to be hours and hours of running.
Absolutely, and particularly where that terrain gets uneven and and rocky. Those classic scenarios in the lakes where you're coming down, maybe steep scree. It's going to hurt underfoot if you've got less protection, and that's the big difference between the two shoes.
And again, it's 6 mil drop as well. There's a good balance, isn't there, in between actually having enough support, enough cushioning, but not too much so that it will feel unstable on those more technical descents. It strikes me like a good balance in between features.
It is for sure, and a great, a great shoe that offers good support in the forefoot, but equally we create a nice tight fit around the heel for that comfort and stability, but widen it slightly in the forefoot just to allow that foot to expand, because again, you're in it all day, so it needs that room for breathing.
And where does the Infinity fit in comparison then? Is this the next level up?
It is. I mean, this gives us an all-terrain shoe that can really take you from that kind of medium distance to long, whereas the Infinity in there definitely takes you out towards that longer distance style trail run. Ultra, although we're not using that name in the title, but it is all about ultra.
This one's called the Infinity though. This one you can just keep running forever.
And that's the idea, hopefully that's what we're getting out of this shoe.
So what's the difference then in terms of things like your stack height and the level of cushioning that this provides?
So this is, for us, this is the largest stack in this section of the collection. So we've got a 28 down to 24 in this case. So there's a 4 mil drop there. but we're looking for cushioning here, we're looking for support, and we get that from 2 different densities of EVA in here as well. So this allows us to gain some stability through a slightly denser EVA, and then more cushioning and support underfoot from that slightly sort of more medium density.
And I'm presuming that that will help it do it for longer, because again, once you've had your shoe on for, well, 10 hours, 24 hours, you need something extra. And I'm assuming that the dual compound really helps to mitigate that.
And it does. And if we were able to look inside here, this darker, more dense compound is almost horseshoe shaped, so it actually runs around the rim of the shoe, which helps keep that heel nice and central and gives that foot almost that sort of infinite cushioning feel that you'd look for in there.
Again, the cool thing about this is you haven't scrimped on the sole unit either. It's still got more than adequate grip for, you know, if you're bombing it around Lakeland trails, even off trail to an extent. You know, it's got enough, particularly throughout those drier months of the year.
Yeah, I mean, again, you know, we're using Vibram, so we've got a fantastic mega grip outsole on here, but we incorporate into that what we call the ACS, which is that sort of active comfort system. That gives us a more almost infinite feel of cushioning in the shoe, because it allows it to open up as the heel's being pushed down into the center of that foot, you know?
Over the course of 24 hours.
Yes, exactly, yeah.
And in terms of the fit, are these similar to both the Ultra and the 2.0?
They are, not to the 2.0, definitely a unique fit in terms of the family here, but very much similar here to what you've got in the Ultra, really, yeah.
So between the 3, I mean, it's a really solid collection, isn't it? Depending on the length of the run that you're going to be going on, or the pace of the run as well.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, these 2 shoes here, all about, you know, extended effort. You're putting a pace in, and you're going to stick to that for the day, hopefully. This is about putting a real effort in, going fast, going light, and looking to win a race, I guess. You know, you're out there to race rather than to put the miles in.
So it's also worth mentioning, Dave, if we kneel down now, that each of the models that we've covered here as well comes in a very specific women's version with an entirely reworked last. How do these shape up in comparison?
Well, as you'd expect, I mean, performance-wise, exactly the same as the guys, but you've got to bear in mind that we have a specific women's last to all of these shoes. So, you know, as ever with Scarpa, you know, we don't leave any stone unturned, really. And
you're never one that's afraid to make more lasts, or life potentially more confusing and awkward.
You know Scarpa well. Yeah, always keen to do that, but you know what? You just get the performance out of it.
Brilliant. And we've also got the Rebelle Run. And for those of you watching at home, take a look at the link above, where we'll be talking about those in more detail.